The esteemed decree of the Amir al-Mu'minin, may Allah protect him, historic decree that astonished the world. From the date of issuance of this decree, the cultivation of poppy has been absolutely prohibited throughout the entire country. The perseverance and efforts of thousands of officers, farmers, employees and committed institutions made it possible. The complete eradication of drug cultivation and trafficking, but a hidden wound called addiction still remains. A challenge, and a step toward making another impossible a reality. Afghanistan without poppy. Afghanistan. A land that has always stood before harsh trials, from war and migration to hope and victory. A country with a turbulent history, yet with a heart that still beats. A heart filled with faith and hope for a better tomorrow. Not so long ago, the name Afghanistan was closely tied to the cultivation and trafficking of narcotics. Tens of thousands of hectares of land were planted with poppy, and millions of people were trapped in addiction. Scenes the world witnessed time and again through the lens of the media.
This is Afghanistan. Western Kabul is one of the headquarters of the drug dealers. According to these drug addicts, violence is.
But today, the story has changed. Afghanistan has turned a new page of national will and determination. With the re-establishment of the Islamic Emirate. One of the first and most explicit decisions was the complete ban on the cultivation, production, and trafficking of narcotics, a historic decree that astonished the world.
The esteemed decree of the Amir al-Mu'minin, may Allah protect him, regarding the prohibition of poppy cultivation and all kinds of narcotic substances. Based on the decree of the esteemed Amir al-Mu'minin, all fellow countrymen are informed that from the date of issuance of this decree, the cultivation of poppy is absolutely prohibited throughout the entire country. From now on, no one is allowed to cultivate this plant. If, God forbid, anyone violates this order, their crops will be destroyed, and violators will be dealt with according to Islamic Sharia law. Praise be to Allah, we have eliminated 3,000 drug production facilities. More than 12,000 tons of narcotic substances, which were related to the Ministry of Interior, have been burned. Therefore, praise be to Allah, we are fully committed, based on the decree of the leadership of the Islamic Emirate, to reduce narcotic substances to a zero level in all provinces with wisdom and authority, and to ensure that Afghanistan enters the community of other countries as a healthy nation. Over the course of 4 years of fighting drugs, we have arrested around 37,000 people who were involved in trafficking or processing narcotic substances. Therefore, praise be to Allah, we are fully committed, based on the decree of the leadership of the Islamic Emirate, to reduce narcotic substances to a zero level in all provinces with wisdom and authority, and to ensure that Afghanistan enters the community of other countries as a healthy nation.
At first, this policy may have seemed out of reach, but today, statistics speak of a new reality. Drug cultivation in Afghanistan has dropped to nearly zero. This achievement is the result of the efforts of thousands of officers, farmers' employees, and committed institutions, a national effort to free generations from the chains of addiction.
The Ministry of Interior Affairs, along with its deputy for the fight against narcotics and the police, has fully applied the rules throughout all parts of Afghanistan. Despite limited resources and time, alhamdulillah, they have made such efforts that today you see poppy cultivation has been reduced to zero in Afghanistan. Today, praise be to Allah, we have reports from European countries stating that they are facing shortages of narcotic substances and are requesting Afghanistan to import or export these materials to them.
Lands that once grew poppy now sprout wheat, vegetables, and hope. But behind this success, a hidden wound still remains. A wound called addiction. In alleys, under bridges, and in the forgotten corners of cities. There were people who were once pillars of society, but who have now drifted away from life under the shadow of addiction.
Over the past 20 years, there have been many hardships related to narcotic drugs. You were witnesses to these cities before, and you are witnesses now, that public order had been disrupted by these people. The beauty of the cities was affected because of them. Regarding statistics and the number of addicts, so far, we do not have any new survey. There was a survey conducted during the previous administration, but we cannot say with certainty whether it was accurate or not. The UN Office on Drugs and Crime had conducted a survey estimating around 3 to 4 million, or approximately 4.5 million, Afghan individuals as addicts. However, after the establishment of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan until today, around 180,000 people have been collected and handed over to health centers for treatment. Most of them have been treated and returned to their homes. Currently, approximately around 20,000 people are still under treatment. After the establishment of the Islamic Emirate, there was almost a humanitarian crisis, as these people were left homeless under bridges and on the streets. This caused the leadership to issue an order to collect these people and transfer them to a specific place so that they could be cared for and protected, and then return to society healthy and rehabilitated.
Statistics reported more than 4.5 million addicts across the country. A heavy figure for a nation still walking the path of reconstruction. In response to this crisis, a major step was taken. The establishment of well-equipped and extensive camps for the treatment of addicts. 12 support and treatment centers for addicts have been created, providing simultaneous treatment capacity for more than 20,000 patients. These centers are not only places for physical treatment, but homes for rebuilding the human spirit. In this documentary, we go to the heart of Kabul city, where two large addiction treatment centers, the 5,000-bed Agush camp and the 2,000-bed Omid camp, serve as shelters for thousands of people on their journey back to life. Some patients are collected from the streets with the efforts of security forces, some are referred by their families, and others step into this place by their own will and determination.
ظاهر بگی
Those whose results are negative return home, but those who are struggling with addiction enter the treatment process, the first step toward a new chapter in their lives. The quarantine or detox phase is the first and most difficult step of treatment. The body, locked in a painful battle with withdrawal and dependency, resists.
The detox phase lasts from 15 to 30 days. After that, withdrawal symptoms disappear, but feelings of distress and thoughts of self-harm may appear. During detox, we have psychologists who work alongside them, coordinate with them, and guide them toward life and toward salvation from addiction. The problems that arise are treated symptomatically. For example, some develop colds, diarrhea, or mental confusion. Because their bodies are weak, these substances themselves cause sexual problems. When the drugs do not reach them, these issues occur.
Fever, tremors, restlessness, and nightmares accompany patients during these days. But beside them stands a team of doctors, nurses, and psychologists, ensuring that this painful journey is passed safely.
No one can force someone to use this, can they? Addiction itself is a mental dependency. At first, a person becomes mentally dependent on the pleasure it gives them, and later their body becomes dependent as well. Emotionally, they consider themselves highly bound and obligated to repeatedly use narcotic substances. Psychological treatment is more important for them than physical treatment, so that the wrong and negative thoughts they have developed, or the negative impressions they have taken from people, can be changed.
از نگاه خانواده از همه ابعاد میایه برای ما ضرر می داشته باشه. مثلا
After physical treatment, it is time for emotional and mental healing. Psychotherapy is the stage of rebuilding the mind and emotions. In individual and group sessions, patients learn that they are not alone. Empathy and hearing others' stories rekindle sparks of hope in their hearts.
Tell me the most serious cause, doctor. The most serious cause is that first of all I am fully educated, I can draw well and I can do calligraphy. There are no suitable job opportunities for me. This is the most important thing that disturbs my mind and pushes me toward these things. Alright, you tell me yourself. For example, saying there are economic problems. This is sociologically an incorrect statement. Because what is 500 multiplied by 30? It becomes 15,000 Afghanis. So this cannot be the cause, right? A person who earns 15,000 Afghanis per month, this cannot be considered the reason or cause. Here, we have three types of sessions: individual sessions, group sessions, which include between 10 and 20 people, and psychological training sessions, which may include between 100 and 200 people, or even more. Every day, we conduct all three types of sessions with them.
In these centers, faith plays a fundamental role. Religious teachings are a core part of the treatment, because returning to faith is returning to oneself. By learning the Quran and Hadith, patients are reminded that the body and soul are a divine trust.
Addiction, from the Islamic point of view, and the reasons for its prohibition are very clear. Reason, religious texts, and the consensus of scholars all prove that addiction to narcotic substances leads to the destruction of the individual, the family, society, and even affects the entire world. We conducted an assessment and concluded that we must teach several sections here. The memorization section, where we help them memorize surahs. The supplication section, which is specific to prayer and leads to the success and salvation of the individual, we help them memorize prayers. The jurisprudence section covers topics such as prayer, fasting, zakat, and hajj, the 5 pillars of Islam, and explains the pillars of Islam and faith. We also created basic education sections, explaining why narcotic substances are prohibited from an Islamic perspective, matters of belief such as knowing Allah, knowing the prophets and messengers, and other related topics. We also discussed the rights of parents, the rights of children, and other issues. All necessary topics were included in the basic education curriculum.
In these camps, the goal is not only to quit addiction. Education, empowerment, and skills training are also essential parts of the recovery process.
The best life is a pure life. The best intoxication is being clean, not being an addict. We work with slippers and boots, we do manual labor. Thanks be to Allah, I learned this. In the end, we are able to work properly. My home was in Iran. There, I fell in love with my cousin, my aunt's daughter. I wanted to marry her, but my family did not allow it. My older brother married her older sister. The family said, "We will not give her to you. Even if you kill yourself, we will not give her to you." I attempted suicide once or twice. No matter what I did, they did not agree. I said I would kill myself. They said, "Even if you kill yourself, we will not give her to you." After that emotional pain, I went and shared my feelings with an individual. I told him my situation, that I was in love with someone and couldn't marry her. I cried heavily and was heartbroken. He said, "Come, take 1 or 2 puffs of this and you'll feel better." After that, whenever I went, I used it, sometimes after a week, 10 days, or a month. It temporarily eased my pain. Then slowly, little by little, I turned toward addiction and eventually became an addict. Families should behave well. When you go out into the city and then come back home, they say things like, "Did you use again?" Or they don't accept you properly, or they call you powder user, saying, "You are the same powder addict you were before." They taunt you in a way that pushes you back into using. Families must have good behavior so that when an addict goes out into society, they are treated well. A drug addict always has their head down in front of everyone, their head is lowered. Everyone calls them powdery. In the end, their hand is always stretched out, begging, meaning in every way you look at it, they are lacking and have nothing. But if someone wants to try, they can reach somewhere in life. They can learn, they can slowly keep themselves busy, and then they won't go back to drugs.
Here, patients learn skills such as tailoring, shoemaking, electrical work. Installation of security systems, and basic literacy, so that after recovery, they can build a new future with their own hands.
When we migrated to Pakistan, we were unemployed and used to wander around with friends without keeping ourselves busy. Unemployment felt enjoyable at the time, and because of bad companions, we became involved in this act. It has been almost 10 years that I have been addicted. An addict must be respected and should not be spoken to harshly, because they do not have control over themselves to free themselves from this act. They should be spoken to gently by a brother, a father, or other family members, because this person is ill.
The treatment and educational programs in technical workshops are conducted in cooperation with the Ministries of Labor and Social Affairs, Hajj and Religious Affairs, Education, Public Health, and international organizations.
I was looking after my 2 children, and I was suffering a lot. My own life had become a burden for me. My wife had passed away, and it's obvious that a wife carries a major part of a person's life. It has been 18 months that I have been bedridden because half of my family lives in Iran. I hope in Allah Almighty that I will see them. They might be watching me through television, but I can't say for sure. I work in bag making. It has been 4 months now, thanks to God. We have 8 or 9 types of bags, and we are able to make them. They should work with love, not with harshness. They should not use bad words or remind the person again and again of their past life or past actions. It is better to deal with them with kindness, a good attitude, mercy, and love.
Sports are also an inseparable part of the treatment. On football fields, volleyball courts, cricket grounds, and in martial arts training, we see young men who, with every movement, rebuild their bodies and regain their health. For them, sports are not just physical exercise. They are lessons in willpower, hope, and a new beginning.
Thanks to God, we have regained our health. All the guys have high morale and very good spirits. I also thank the managers who provided sports facilities for us. By the grace of God, we exercise daily. There are cricket clubs, martial arts clubs, football and volleyball, and other clubs. Thank God, we do sports and day by day we feel healthier and more energetic. Those who relapse into addiction usually do so in a short period. When they come into the hospital, they are in a hurry to leave. In my opinion, they should not think about family or anything else at that moment. They should only think about their own health. When a person restores their health, family will also come back, everything will come back, and gradually things will improve. These people come in a state of crisis, stress, and psychological pain caused by drugs. In that condition, they should stay longer. It would be better if this program lasted about 6 months to 1 year. Controlling addiction largely depends on family elders and guardians. Some families give special attention and try to ensure that the person does not return to addiction. Some individuals are referred to local authorities, where they are required to report regularly. From what we have observed, this process has been very effective. God willing, through this process, we will be able to save Afghanistan from narcotic addiction.
At the end of the treatment period, each individual is evaluated by a special committee. If fully recovered, and with a family guarantee, they are allowed to return home. Here there are doctors, here there are psychologists, there is professional staff. All of them will help you, they will consider your problem, they will arrange another session for you, and God willing, they will take your problem into account. Any problem that arises, come back here for consultation. A moment when tears and smiles blend in the eyes of both families and patients, a moment when life begins again. Many of them, after returning, find jobs, establish workshops, or voluntarily serve other addicts on the path to recovery. I secretly smoked hashish and cigarettes. Both ruined my condition in a moment. My reason and awareness fell into the trap of misfortune. I never saw a good day except sin. I pray at the threshold of God. I ask healing from your court. Help me and my children. Remove this habit from my life. Quitting addiction is not the end of life, it is its beginning.